Okay, this is the video lesson for 7.5, Algebra 1, Division Properties of Exponents. So in this lesson, we are going to divide powers with the same base and raise a quotient to a power. So here I'm starting off with a question that has the same base with different exponents. If we think about the top, right, that's 4 to the 5th power. That means 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, 5 times, right? And then there's 3 on the bottom, 4 times 4 times 4. Well, remember when you have the same factor on top and on the bottom, 4 divided by 4, that becomes 1. So these kind of cancel to 1. These cancel to 1, and these cancel to 1, and you're left with 4 on top, which is 4 squared, or 16. So what happens here, right, 5 on top, 3 on the bottom, this is the same as 4 times 5 minus 3. Oops, so 4 squared. So, as you can expect, when you divide powers with the same base, you're going to subtract exponents. So in algebra, right, it would be if m's on the exponent on the top and n is the exponent on the bottom, then it would be same base, a to the m minus n. And you can see here with numbers, it's kind of how I did it up there. And then if you have more on the bottom, right, more on top cancel with those on the bottom. So you left with ones on the bottom, right? You have 4 on top and 7 on the bottom. 4 of them on the bottom get canceled. You have 3 left on the bottom. Okay, so let's look at this first example. What's the simplified form of each expression? Again, remember this only works if it's the same base. So these are all going to have the same base, at least in the beginning, right? So this all has x, and so what's on top is an 8, and so we're going to subtract what's on the bottom. So this is x to the 5th. And here we have different bases, right? An m and an n. But so for m, we're going to do 2 minus 5. And you can also think about this, right? There's 5 on the bottom, 2 on top. That means 2 of them are going to cancel. So you're going to have 3 on the bottom and 4 on top, 3 on the bottom. That means 3 are going to cancel. There'll be 1 on top. But let's see that with subtracting. And then with n, we have 4 minus 3. So this becomes m to the negative 3, n to the 1. And so since this is negative 3, right, this is going to go in the bottom of our fraction. And so n to the 1 over m to the 3rd. And remember, we don't write the 1 exponent. So this is just n over m to the 3rd. Okay, so try these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for you to try. Here, press pause and then check back for solutions. Okay, so a lot of work here. Hopefully you got y for the first, right? 5 on top, 4 on the bottom. So 4 of them cancel with 1 on top. 5 minus 4 is 1. And you don't write the 1. 3 minus 9 is negative 6. So 6 on the bottom. Remember this invisible 1. So 6 minus 1 is 5. So k to the 5th. And then 2 minus 5 is negative 3. So 3 on the bottom. Negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8. So 8 a's on the bottom. 7 minus 2 is 5, so 5 b's on the top. And then this one got a little tricky, right? 4 minus 4 is 0. So these all cancel. 4 on top, 4 on the bottom. This cancels to 1. Right, so 4 minus 4 is 0. Anytime we see a 0 exponent, we write a 1 on top. Get rid of that. And then this is negative 1 minus negative 5, which is the same as adding 5 to negative 1, which is 4. And then 8 on top, 1 on the bottom, that invisible 1, 8 minus 1 is 7. So it's 8 to the, y to the 4th power times z to the 7th power. Okay, we're going to skip problem 2. Okay, so raising a quotient to a power here. So this is, quotient, remember, is a division problem. So if we have 8 divided by b, a divided by b to the n, then each factor on top and on bottom gets that n. So if we have a fraction like 3 to the 5 over 5, 3/5 to the 3rd power, then the 3 gets cubed and the 5 gets cubed. Okay, and then in variables, here you can see this. Right, if it's x over y, it's x to the 5th divided by y to the 5th. Okay, so it kind of gets distributed to each factor or each thing that's being multiplied. So let's see this in action. In this case, we have z to the 4th divided by 5 to the 3rd. So that means this guy gets a 3rd and this guy gets a 3rd. So this is z to the 4th cubed divided by 5 cubed. So this is z to the 4 times 3, right? Power of a power. And this is 125, 5 times 5 times 5. So this is z to the 12th power over 125, which is d. Okay, so there's one for you to try here. Please press pause and check back for the solution. And hopefully you got 16 over x to the 6th, right? Because the 4 gets squared, so that's 16 on top, and then the x cubed gets squared. So power of power, 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, moving on. So now this is where it gets a little tricky when we have a quotient to a power that's negative. And so the trick with this is whenever you have anything in parentheses that has an exponent that's negative, if it's a fraction, what you want to first do is just flip it. And you can do this when it's not a fraction. It gets a little bit trickier because you don't actually see the fraction, but flip it first, and that gets rid of the negative. So what that looks like here is we're going to write y to the 4th over 2. So we flipped it, and then this is to the 3rd power. So we got rid of that negative exponent by flipping, right? Because the negative just means move it to the bottom or move it to the top. So since this is going to be getting the negative, it gets moved to the bottom. Since this is getting the negative, it would move to the top. So let's just do that first, take care of that negative. Then we can distribute our exponent. So this is going to be y to the 4th cubed over 2 cubed. And so this is y to the 4 times 3. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So this is y to the 12th over 8. Okay, so try that one here. First, remember, get rid of your negative by flipping this fraction, and then give each one the 2. Okay, and so press pause, try this on your own, and then check back for the solution. Okay, hopefully you just got b squared over a squared, right? So you first flip it, b over a, and to the 2nd power, so to get rid of that negative, and then the b gets the squared, and the a gets the squared. All right, that's it. Enjoy your practice.